offense, one of the things we've seen different looks. We've seen 2 tight end sets. We've seen Maven kind of come along. What's been your thoughts on just how he's developed and what it's like to have that 2 tight end offense in the system now?
Well, I know having the 2 tight ends and proves that running game a lot, but as far as Maven, I mean, he's been a freak athlete since he got here. You know, he's still learning, and he's been learning things like that, and he's one of those guys that can run, catch, and block and run and do all those capabilities, you know, and now we're putting it to use, and he's making the offense go.
What's it been like to try to see him transition? Because Jimbo talked about it yesterday, how like his development is different than that of, let's say, someone like you or whoever, where you guys grew up playing football your whole life. With him, it's been different. What's it been like to kind of see that from the ground up, so to say, till now?
Well, he's been I know he's been playing basketball, and I know he had some major offers before coming in. You know, I didn't have any major offers for playing basketball, but you know, you can see it in his physical aspects of his body and in all his movements and feet and things like that. I mean, he's a very physical specimen that doesn't really come around often. You know, you really can see it, but as far as the things physical and things like that, he can also produce on the field physically and catching wise and run game wise.
Is he the best basketball player on the team?
It's room that he is.
Going off the 2 tight end stuff, and you guys have been running the ball with a lot of success lately. Do you think the offense is kind of coming into its own, finding its identity, finding out what works really well for you guys at this point in the season?
I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah. I mean, those looks are always up to Coach Fisher and things like that. Of course, you know, I trust in whatever he does, but I think the offense is finding their identity, and we're still having things to work on and things like that, little things to make the bigger picture and things like that.
What do you think right now, as a collective unit, the whole offense, you guys are doing particularly well that is really, I guess you could call a strength right now?
I think we've been having pretty good practices and pretty good games like that. You know, starting the year off, you know, our main thing was starting off slow and having to catch up. And you know, recently I think we've been eliminating those self-inflicting wounds and things, so we won't put ourselves behind the 8 ball and starting in a good position to give us a fighting chance.
Do you think it's helped DeAndre kind of step into this role quicker, to be thrown into the fire of the schedule he has? I mean, you've already faced 3 ranked opponents. Has that really helped him?
I mean, yes. He have confidence. I mean, he doesn't show any intimidation or he's not scared at all. I mean, after all, he did have a phenomenal fall camp and things like that. You know, he had a great game against Ole Miss and Louisville and North Carolina. So I think his confidence is being built over time, and he's still got ways to go. And I'm very, very confident in him.
Rob, with guys like Maven, Izzo, Kermit, Bobo, Travis, Dalvin, Jaquez, you guys have a lot of options you guys can give the balls to. What are the positives in having so many options, and what do you think could be some negatives if you have so many people to throw the ball to or try to work into it?
The negative would probably be having a defense don't know who to guard on those kind of plays, but a positive is, you know, having a phenomenal run game and have a phenomenal pass game. You know, all those receivers and the running backs we have, you know, they all feeding the ball, each one of them getting them shares and touches and things like that. That's pretty good for the offense.
With all those touches kind of spread out and not really coming as frequent, you know, for other players, for some players as others, do you think it's harder for some players to kind of get into a groove of the game?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we always have a nice rotation, so we won't have like one specific set of receivers or one specific running back. There was a rotation, so I think everybody on the team is getting their fair amount of touches.
One of the things Jimbo got asked about earlier was how with you made your debut at Miami. Thinking about it now, I mean, what was that like for you to make your debut, and what's it like for you to go back there now?
I mean, that week back in 2014 happened pretty fast. That Monday, you know, Coach Trigger told me that I was going to be starting the lineup, and that whole week I was taking reps with the ones, and before you know it, I was in Miami playing against Miami with Josue and Cam and Bobby, and then they made it a lot easier than it could have been for me. And now here I am again, going back to Miami, hoping going in there as a better football player and making progress that I have over the years, so I'm very confident in it.
For you, what's changed? I mean, I know a lot's changed, but like, what's changed in terms of your approach? Because I imagine when Trigger told you were starting, I'm sure it was kind of a little bit of a wow moment. But what's it like now to kind of get used to those starts, and instead of being the guy who's kind of plugged in, you're the guy in a sense that, in a way, they've kind of built around, so to say.
I mean, really, I'm not blowing it up as a bigger game than it has to be. I mean, it's just a game. There's another game on the schedule, but you know, I'm going to go out there, do what I coach, and have fun. Basically, is what I'm going to go do.
So you're excited to go play Miami?
Oh yeah, back down there. Going back to Miami is going to be pretty good, and it's a memorable moment for me.
Enjoy playing them more than Florida?
They're the same. Well, going to Miami and going to Florida, they're both the same. It's both fun encounterments. The Swamp's pretty good to play in too.
Cool, we good?